This story will make you question everything you thought you knew about trust, about the people we rely on, the ones we turn to when we're at our most vulnerable. Because sometimes, the greatest betrayals don't come from strangers in the shadows. Sometimes they come from the people who are supposed to protect us. Dr. Richard Jordan wasn't just another doctor. He was a board-certified anesthesiologist with a spotless record, a steady hand in the operating room, and a long list of thankful patients. He held a prestigious position at Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center in North Carolina, a respected institution known for medical excellence. Jordan was also a husband, a father, a man whose white coat symbolized compassion and responsibility. But behind that carefully curated image, authorities say, was something far more sinister. Something so dark it sent shockwaves through his community and shattered the lives of people who had trusted him implicitly. It all began with a quiet tip, just another lead among thousands received each year by the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. Nothing about it seemed particularly explosive at first. Investigators were used to combing through hard drives and chat logs, piecing together patterns of behavior. But as they followed the digital trail that led to Dr. Jordan, things escalated quickly. On March 7, 2025, authorities executed a search warrant at Jordan's home in Forsyth County. What they uncovered turned their stomachs. Jordan was arrested on multiple counts related to the possession and distribution of child pornography. That alone would have been enough to destroy a man's career. But the nightmare was just beginning, because hidden within the devices investigators seized, tucked away in folders, buried beneath layers of digital camouflage, were recordings, not downloaded videos, not internet files. These were original recordings, homemade, and worse, they were filmed using hidden cameras, tiny lenses placed inside the bathroom of a family member's home. According to detectives, these cameras had been recording for months, quietly capturing the most private moments of unsuspecting victims. People who had absolutely no idea they were being watched, let alone by someone they loved and trusted. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment lapse in judgment. This was methodical, planned, repeated. Police believe Jordan installed the cameras himself. The recordings weren't just stored, they were cataloged, reviewed, and, allegedly, in at least one instance, shared. When this second wave of revelations came out, the community didn't just react with horror. They felt something deeper, something more personal, because this wasn't just about the crime, it was about the betrayal. Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center swiftly announced that Dr. Jordan was no longer employed. The North Carolina Medical Board confirmed that he had voluntarily surrendered his medical license within a week of his arrest. Just like that, a career built over decades crumbled to dust. But titles and jobs can be replaced. Trust, once broken, rarely heals. Jordan now faces multiple felony charges across 2 counties. The bond set against him totals $595,000, and that number could rise as more charges are potentially filed. He's being held in the Davidson County Jail, awaiting his next court appearance. Each day, investigators are combing through terabytes of evidence, trying to understand the scope of his actions, and to identify all the potential victims. Because that's the terrifying part. We still don't know how many people he violated, how long it had been going on, or whether more footage exists in cloud backups, encrypted folders, or devices still hidden away. The people most impacted by this case aren't just statistics or anonymous entries on a report. They are real individuals, some of them children, who must now grapple with the psychological aftermath of knowing their privacy was stolen, their trust exploited, their safety shattered by someone who was supposed to protect them. Forensic psychologists consulted on the case have described the ripple effects of such violations as lifelong. Victims often experience PTSD, anxiety, depression, and an overwhelming sense of shame, even though they did nothing wrong. The emotional fallout doesn't disappear with a court ruling. It stays, sometimes for years. And then there's the question that haunts every parent, every patient, every colleague who ever crossed paths with Dr. Jordan. Was there more we didn't see? How did a man who spent his days in sterile operating rooms, saving lives, come home and engage in such calculated predation? Was there a sign? A moment someone missed? That's what chills people to the bone. The idea that someone can live two lives, one polished, professional, and public, the other hidden, vile, and dangerous. The fact that he was able to maintain such a dual existence for so long speaks to how easily some predators can camouflage themselves in plain sight. It's not the monsters in dark alleys we fear most anymore. It's the ones with credentials, the ones who smile politely at dinner parties, the ones who wear stethoscopes around their necks and carry iPads filled with lab results, while hiding secrets they hope will never be exposed. And what about accountability? While Jordan is entitled to his day in court, many are already calling for systemic changes in how professionals in positions of power are monitored. Should medical institutions do more thorough background checks, even after someone has been hired? Should there be mandatory psychological evaluations in high-trust professions? These are hard questions, but they're being asked more and more. Online, the outrage has been intense. The story made local headlines and quickly spread nationwide. Parents in the community feel violated. Colleagues feel betrayed. His former patients feel sick. One woman who had once trusted Jordan with her mother's care described the news as a punch to the soul. As of now, the investigation is still ongoing. Authorities believe there may be additional victims who have yet to come forward or be identified. They're urging anyone with information to contact the North Carolina Bureau of Investigation. But even as the legal process plays out, one truth remains unshakable. This case serves as a brutal reminder that predators don't always look like monsters. Sometimes they look like heroes. Sometimes they save lives in the daylight and destroy them in the dark. And sometimes the scariest criminals are the ones we never even suspected.